Hey, this is Notser, and this is Untitled. This week, we're going to talk about an event that I tried to do on Sunday stream, and maybe it worked out, maybe it didn't. Basically, I was going down the line. This is not unheard of. People have done this before, but in World of Warships, the lines are, well, there's not a lot of differences. World of Warships is much more consistent than other wargaming products on the line, going from 1 to 10. However, it is still important for people to really see how that ship is today. Some of my content for those ships is years old at this point, and I just wanted to see what your thought was on that particular event that I did. If you didn't like it, let me know. If you did like it, let me know that too. I appreciate it. Any feedback, all that stuff. I really do listen. Maybe more than I should, or maybe less than I should sometimes, but I really do care about what you're saying. Also, you might see I'm in the Z52, and it is on my main account. I have finally unlocked the Tier 10 German destroyer. I would like to talk about my experiences with the German destroyer line and how that went. How did it actually work out? The initial launch versus now. Finally, I really want to address that some people have, I don't know, been really annoyed by my content recently, and I just want to let you know what I'm thinking. But first, the Japanese cruiser line. I went 1 to 10, and I did it partly because there was a Japanese event. Obviously, I'm going to double dip, but doing damage in a Japanese ship, period, any Japanese ship is really rewarding, obviously, when you get credits and flags and all that stuff. So that's why I chose the Japanese cruiser line. As far as the actual cruisers are concerned, I had a great time. I really enjoyed playing all the tiers. They felt very consistent. They felt like they specialize in HE. When your gun caliber gets to a certain point, you can start firing AP against broadside targets, but generally, you've got long-range torpedoes, fairly mediocre AA, great HE shells. The guns themselves are a little slow on the turret traverse, but the package is pretty well laid out, and I found success. I can't say that that's a shocker, considering most of the games were mid to, well, most of the games, we started at 1 and we went to 10. I would say that 6 or 7 is where I start running into players that can honestly, consistently carry, and I have to compensate for that by being a better player and all that stuff. Low tiers, people are learning the game. That's completely fair, but it's much easier to overcome 3, 6, 7, 8 ships at Tier 3 than it is at Tier 9. So we crushed some souls, crushed some hearts and dreams. CO Club in 101. It was for a good cause, okay? I wanted you to see what the Japanese cruisers are like right now. Some of my Japanese cruiser videos are over 6 months, maybe a year old at this point. That's not relevant to people asking, hey, should I go down this line right now? And hopefully I was able to answer that. Now, did you enjoy it? Was it fun to see a Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, all the way to Tier 10? We had some great games, some really close games, some stomps, of course, but the really close games, I will be sharing them. I will be talking about them, and I didn't feel like the Japanese cruisers in particular gave up at any real tier, especially knowing that the Mogami 155 is getting buffed next patch. In 0.6.4, the Japanese cruiser line will probably return to being the best cruiser line to play. Most consistent, most reasonable, most familiar as you level up. I really enjoyed my time with the cruiser. Now, that doesn't matter. Did you enjoy the time with the cruisers? Is it more fun to have a plan and not follow so much on what the chat wants? Because sometimes the chat wants the same ship over and over. They'll come in late, or they didn't see me, they didn't know it was on, and they'll ask for the exact same ship. And I just played it, and I feel bad, but I have to kindly not play that ship, decline that offer, and suggest that they watch a previous recording in order to get that particular ship. I don't play enough mid-tiers, I believe, and I think this is a good excuse to play early to mid-tiers, just so you can see and hear the frustration with a ship that has a maximum speed of like 18 knots. That's not fun for me. That shouldn't be fun for you. But overall, it's really fun. I did do the German battleships probably 2 months ago. I didn't really take anything from that, from content. I would like to make a video sort of summarizing the Japanese cruisers, so it's much easier for someone to go, you know, what's the next line I want to play? Here you go. Obviously, that's going to be more work than the average video, but I think it's worth it. If you think you have those same questions, let me know. I think it's worthy content. I enjoyed making it. The Z-52 and the German destroyer lines, we have completed reaching tier 10 with the Z-52 and the Germans. What is my overall thoughts on it? Well, it's really hard to not consider how they played when I was testing it before they released. Now, I know this happened a while back, but obviously a lot of community contributors wrote them off, and wrote them off really hard. I was more frustrated by the lack of communication by Wargaming and the encouragement, oh yeah, make content that's completely irrelevant whenever the ships actually come out. But knowing how weak their gun systems were because of the bloom, it really informed my play to be very measured, very respectful of exactly how much I can take from the enemy and how much they can punish me back. In this instance, I felt like I took too much. It wasn't worth what I risked in the ship's health. So, what does that all mean? Well, my German destroyers have the highest average win rate of any destroyer line I've had. 70%. That's my average. And you're like, oh, well, maybe that was like 3 or 4 games. I did not free XP a single German destroyer. I might have free XP'd stock modules and all that crap, but I legitimately played 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 games in pretty much all the ships that needed it. And I was very consistent in my success as a team player. Personal damage was probably lower on average than the Soviet destroyer line, but the team won more often. And why is that? The destroyer can play the objective. The Germans have no problem playing the objective. Their torpedoes are great. Great rearm. I love the torpedoes. They rearm so fast. It's like playing mid-tier Japanese back when they were actually good. You don't have to wait 2.5 minutes for torpedoes to come back up. You can impact every scenario that you would want to in a reasonable amount of time. I can't overstate that. The torpedo rearm window is so much more convenient than any other destroyer line in the game. It makes it a wonderful, wonderful experience for me. Having hydroacoustic is also welcomed because you're never going to get ambushed if you play it right. Obviously, some of us play it wrong. But when you play it right, and boy was he lucky, but when you play it right, it all comes together, allowing you to avoid the torpedoes, send your torpedoes, punish people in smoke, don't overextend too much, don't fire guns when you're out in the open, use your smoke as often as you can. Yes, it's a short smoke, but honestly, sometimes smoke lasts a little bit too long. Maybe I don't need a 400-year lasting smoke that the Americans have. The Americans feel like they last too long. I would give up some of that smoke time to get a faster torpedo rearm, or better gun arcs, or hydroacoustic. It feels like the package works very well when you play within the confines of your strengths and your weaknesses. And that's really a great lesson. I think the German destroyers are a great lesson to anyone trying to pick up a line and brute force their way through it. You have to meld your playstyle to that line. That's how you're going to find the most success in the game. And I have loved my time with the German destroyers. I can't wait, if you like my content, when I go down the line playing them again. Because it has been fantastic. I think I sold one, and I want to buy that back. I've enjoyed all of them, even the bad ones. They're all different in their own way. So, yeah. German destroyers, a really great experience. I would highly recommend anyone looking for a destroyer line that is similar to, maybe you've taken a year off of the game, you've come back, you've seen what they've done to the Japanese destroyers, and you haven't liked it. I think you might like the Germans. It's a very consistent power increase. The torpedoes increase exponentially all the way through. You get more range, more speed, more damage, that sort of thing. And it has just been great. I love the German destroyers. The German destroyers have been a fantastic ride. Discipline, you need to be disciplined, but you will be rewarded for it. The final topic is, some of the comments have been like, oh, Notser, we get it. Soviet destroyers are good. We get it. French cruisers are bad. Okay? We get it. We've heard this before. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I have a difficult time not reiterating what is on my mind to sort of make sure you understand just how bad or how good these are. I will try to be more disciplined. This is not unique to YouTube or Twitch or just anything. I do this all the time. I just can't help myself. Even when I say I'm sorry, I say it more than one time. It's like that's going to make it better. So yes, I want the French cruisers to be fun. I want your time to be worth it. Do I look at it from a competitive standpoint? No! God, no. Who would do that? Who would honestly say to themselves, you know what? I only want to play the best Tier 9 cruiser. Nothing else matters. Oh, the Ibuki is the best Tier 9 cruiser at this stage. Nothing else matters. Why would you pull anything else? That's a terrible way to look at the game. I really don't like this hyper-competitive feeling because it's not realistic. It's not realistic for someone to say, oh yeah, the Izumo, that's the only one that's good. That doesn't mean anything, man. Just play what you have fun with. I'm sorry that I reiterate things. I'm going to try to be a better content creator, quite honestly, not get better gamer. I'm just going to try and be a better content creator and avoid reiterating. I realize that you guys enjoy the content. I enjoy making it for you. And that's really the most important thing. So we're going to try and do that. We're going to improve as a person. But I will say, for anyone who believes they understand exactly what is a person or someone on the internet or anything in real life, just understand. Just understand. We are all breathing, living, breathing creatures. We have our own opinion that changes, morphs, reverses, goes a different direction. We could be a different person than even the person that you thought you knew. 3, 6, 7 months, years. So try to be as, try to be as kind as you possibly can because there's too much hostility on the internet. I try to be the kindest person I can. I really do. To a fault. I hope you don't think I'm fake. That's probably the realest part of me. The fakest thing, maybe I try and show enthusiasm for a brand new ship line or something like that, and I'm playing through them and I'm realizing, oh, well, maybe they're bad or good. Or trying to justify a nerf or a buff that Wargaming has done. Sometimes I am as emotional as you are, and I just can't show it because that would be unprofessional. I mean, really, really angry. Probably the most angry I was when the German destroyers were stealth nerfed right after all my content was released. Because that broke a trust between my content creation and the viewers. And I just can't take that back. Thanks, Wargaming. So I hope that this was interesting. I hope that you are obviously enjoying the game in the background. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.